The URC is over, round 13 is done, and there has been some big results and some shock results. Not too many this week, but we'll still go through them. Yeah, let's go. The table's looking considerably different than it was last week, 2 weeks ago, so yeah, we'll run through that. So we'll start off with the first game, the Leinster Bulls. I know I said I'd stream it, but again, technical issues, I just can't get around it. I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. But yeah, I saw somewhere, was it the URC supercomputer, said that Leinster would win this by like 17 points, and all the Bulls fans went, ridiculous, no way. Well, they bloody well won it by like 33 points, so I think the supercomputer was wrong, but in the wrong way. Leinster absolutely dominated Bulls. Bulls were leading at half time, but what a second half from Leinster. That was almost perfect rugby they were playing. It was really good from the league leaders. But yeah, great result. So 47-14 to Leinster was the final score there. Moving on, the other game that took place, the bottom of the table clash, was at Rodney Parade, and Dragons took on Zebra. I thought Dragons would just about pip it because, yeah, I think Dragons have, had a few good games this season, and they did. 20 points to 13, they won it by 7, so Dragons actually moving off that bottom spot, sitting in 15th now. It's got a massive win for them. That's them now on 3 wins for the season. Zebra still down on that 1 win, 1 draw. But yeah. Next up we go to the Stadio Monigo in Treviso as Benetton hosted Connacht in a game that was a 50-50. I sided slightly with Connacht. It swung the other way. Benetton won 18 points to 14. Yeah, tight game. Anyone could have won that, to be honest with you. Benetton just about got it done with a late try. So they were done by a late Scarlet's try last week, and this week they'd done Connacht with a late try. Connacht actually scored early, but later on in the game, in like the 73rd minute. And then Benetton scored in the 79th, so it swapped the lead, but Benetton winning 18 points to 14. What a game that was. And in the other game, the Sharks, again, I think the Sharks are going to build some momentum. They were facing Edinburgh in a horrible game. It was absolutely dire from both sides. 23-13 to Sharks was the final score. But Sharks, they should have scored a lot more. Edinburgh did nothing in attack. I could sit and complain. There's decisions in there, refereeing decisions and that I wasn't happy with. But, as an Edinburgh fan, what is our attack? It's absolutely dreadful. They created nothing. They scored in the last play of the game because basically Sharks gave up defending. They knew they weren't going to give anything up and just kind of went, yeah, just let them score type thing. So, we just couldn't attack. Next up though, we have probably the biggest shock of the weekend as Ospreys managing to get the win over the Emirates Lions, 30-21, so a high scorer as well, as the Welsh team from Swansea are back into the top 8. Lions, who were on trajectory that I thought to get into the top 8, but no, Ospreys with a great performance. A bonus point win for them. That's not often you see that against the South African sides. But yeah, huge win for them. Next up, on the other end, a low scorer game as the Stormers hosted Ulster. That one ended 13 points to 7 to the South Africans. So a tight game. Stormers going off the back of a big win over Edinburgh. A lot of people saying that they were going to absolutely dominate this game, but it took them a 73rd minute try to secure it basically. Ulster were 7-0 up at half time, but a couple of late penalties and a late try just about secured the game for Stormers. Next up, we were at the Park of Scarlets for Scarlets hosting Glasgow, and what a domination by the Scottish side. They absolutely destroyed them. It was a great game from Glasgow. After a bit of an iffy display against Cardiff, they came back 45-3 in favour of Glasgow. They have actually jumped up to second in the table, with the Bulls losing to Leinster, and they're only 5 points off Leinster. What a season Glasgow are having. Yeah, great game. Kyle Rowe hat-trick. Yeah. And then last but definitely not least, Munster hosted Cardiff, and Cardiff, who's looked pretty solid in the last few rounds. Again, close but not quite, as they push Munster to a 5-point gap with 20 points to 15 in favour of the reigning champions. So Munster again, as I said, after a poor Christmas period, finally finding their footing. They're sat comfortably now in 4th in the table. Scarlets dropped to 12th. No, I don't think they dropped actually, I think they just stayed where they were, but you know, yeah, they've been good, but they've just not quite managed it. You know, they had a good half-time lead against Glasgow, but it was more a second half fight back against Munster, to be honest with you. I think it was 3-0 Munster at half time. Like, not a very exciting first half, but it came alive in the second half a little bit, which is always good. So there's our games. Going on to the table, going bottom up as I usually do. 16 we've got Zebra, 15 Dragons, 14 Scarlets, 13 Sharks, so Sharks actually moving up the table a little bit, 12 Cardiff, 11 Lions, 10 Connacht, 9 Edinburgh, who have dropped out the top 8 after being sitting in 5th a couple of weeks ago, 8 Ulster, 7 Ospreys, 6 Benetton, 5 Stormers, 4 Munster, 3 Bulls, 2nd Glasgow, and 1st Leinster. Leinster hold a lead of 5 points over Glasgow, who hold a lead of 4 over Bulls. And then you jump down to Munster, who's 2 behind that, Stormers, who's 4 behind that, and then Benetton, who's 2 behind Stormers, and then after that, you know, Ospreys on 35. You're looking down Ulster, Edinburgh, Connacht and Lions are all within a point of Ospreys, so it's still incredibly tight. You know, you've got 5 teams fighting over 2 spaces at the minute, and if you want to throw Benetton, maybe even Stormers in there, you can. Although I think Stormers at least will be fine, because the majority of their games are at home now, and I think that's where the South Africans will push on. And I think it is too late for the Sharks. You know, you're looking, they are still, what's that, 15, 16 points behind. They need probably about, they basically need to win every game. If Sharks win every game, they might, depending on other results, but I can't see it, to be honest with you, as I think they've got a tough game next week, which if they lose that, I think it's just about over for them. But yeah, that's the thing. The predictions went alright. I got 6 out of 8, so again, pretty solid. I've been pretty consistent I never got lower than 4, and I've been, so not bad predictions from me so far. At the end of the season, I will total it up. I will go back and watch everything and total it up. I've lost count. I'll keep count next season, and you can play along, and let's see who got predictions right. But thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, I shall see you later.